Hi, thank you for watching any video blog today from Winterberg, Germany. I heard it so often. People telling me that it's very hard and difficult to have a larger family nowadays because of the cost of living. And when I look at the families, the current families, the situation where they're living in, they are living the most luxurious that you can ever imagine. Every child, if they even have a child, but let's say they have 1 or 2 children, every child has their own bedroom with their own bed, with central heating. They have like tablets, they have place to play. They most also have a garden to play in. Very luxurious. And they say that it's a necessity, but children need this. I say that's just a matter of perspective. If I look, for example, to my grandparents, I know that they were living with 10 children in a small house in the city. They had no garden, they had absolutely not a separate room for themselves because they were with 10 children. So that was impossible. They had to share. They had bed bunks and maybe 4 in one room or 5, or they share a bed, and that was normal. My grandparents were from middle class. Even my grandfather comes from a upper middle class family, living in, especially my grandfather, in a very good neighborhood. They weren't living in bad conditions, but still they had to share rooms. There was no central heating. There was not a lot of playgrounds because it was a city, and back then the streets were very small. And there were no suburbs yet, so it's a matter of perspective. It's just, 60 or 70 years between, and we totally think that children need other things than back in the 1930s or 40s. And like I say, they were from a middle class, upper middle class background. My grandmother also, she came from a more middle class background, and they moved 2 times. One time they moved really from like from a more inner city neighborhood to more like a outer skirt of the city, but still in the city, still smaller houses and with 10 children. And they had no shower at home, for example. All these things that we now think that are necessity weren't a necessity in those days. So it's all a matter of perspective. And you can say like, oh, life was cheaper back then. But you act like you don't have a choice. You decide where you want to live. And nowadays, you have more options. Back then, you were restricted to a country because it was way harder to immigrate. For example, there was not, the language was a barrier. Nowadays, you can talk English, so you can move through all Europe, decide where you are, but also the borders. The borders were closed. It was very hard to move to another country. It was not so easy as now. Now you can just pick up your things, move to a country where it's very affordable to live. For example, you say, okay, I want to Romania. There I can have a large farm, and my children can thrive there. I can have 10 children in the countryside in Romania because I pay maybe 80,000 euros or maybe less for a farm. And with this 80,000 euros, you cannot come anywhere in the Netherlands. It's impossible to find something in the Netherlands. But still, if you would find something in the Netherlands, it's also a matter of perspective. If you say, I decide to make 1 big sleeping room for all of us. Maybe we have a 2 or 3 room apartment or house, but we decide to sleep all in the same room. It's a matter of choice. You choose for it. This was common practice in, like I say, like 60 or 70 years ago. Parents would share the room with the children. They had bed bunks. The children would sleeping together in one bed. They would share beds. They would lay on the floor, on the ground. It was just not a problem at all. It was just common practice. Also, it's more cozy. It's more bonding. When you stay close with your family, it's also a matter of bonding. And that's what I saw. My grandmother, for example, she was so close with her sisters. It's something that you don't see anymore nowadays, because children are being separated. Like, go in your cell block, go in your cell, stay there the whole night, don't come out. How is that for the bonding? It's not really a matter of bonding if you stay hours and hours every day separated from your parents. In nature, you will stay very close to your parents. You will be around them the whole time. So that is also a matter of perspective. And what is better? It's better to look at nature, to stay close also in the night. You see this with babies. They will cry in the night. Why? Because they feel their parents are away. They're separated. There's a wall between them. They're in a cell. It's not natural. And I know it might be very inconvenient when you think, oh, I would stay with my children in one big room. My sleep will be disrupted many times, or etc. I am sure that over time, everybody's sleep will improve and everybody will sleep better, will feel happier, and that is just something that's very natural. It is modernity that makes us think that we need to separate from our children, from our family. That children need to be separated, that they need to be in another room, that they shouldn't be with their parents at night. Of course, it doesn't make any sense. In nature, this is impossible. You would have one big tent or hut, and you would all sleep in the same tent or hut, close to each other, keep each other warm, make use of the body heat, so that's also very functional, and you wouldn't need to burn as much wood to keep warm. So it's very functional as well. It is a matter of perspective. And I know this all like, you think, oh, this is great, etc. Yeah, sure, I know. People are not, cannot imagine these things anymore. They have their wants and needs, and they're artificially created, of course, by the media. They portray this like American lifestyle, suburbs. Children have their big room, their own world. They're separated from the parents. They think their parents are annoying. Yeah, that's all like media, because they want to get you into the housing scam. But if you want to have a big family, you really want to have a big family, and you say, oh, it's unaffordable, it's impossible, think at that this way. You can create one big sleeping room where you all sleep together, so it saves you the need of a very large house. And like I say, it is possible to travel now to a place where it's cheaper, where you can afford a farm. You are not bound to this to a city where you live. You can pick up your things and just move to another country where you get more value for your money, more value for your labor, and where your children can thrive, where your dreams can come true. Don't think your dreams will come true in a city. It's absolutely opposite. All your dreams will die there. Pick up your things, move to another country. You don't have to move far. You can even move to France, to the countryside where they have large plots of lands for sale for basically nothing. You can build there a small log house. And like I say, design it that way that you don't need a lot of rooms, and build on your family bonding. It's the most important of all of this. But if you want to dream of a big family, that is a thing that you have to overcome. All these fears, like, oh, it's impossible, oh, they need rooms, oh, we don't have the money, etc. Think about it broader, look at the past, look at nature, look how your grandparents did it, look how primitive tribes are doing it, primal tribes, I must say. They're not primitive, they're basically the excellent form of living. So that is my advice for you if you want to have a large family. That was for today from Winterberg, Germany. I say thank you for watching and see you next time.